Hey guys, how are we all doing? I hope we are well. Welcome to all my lovely subscribers, old, new and in between. And if you've yet to subscribe, maybe this video might just change your mind. Are you sitting comfortably? Then let's begin. Welcome back. I'm glad to see you here, and I hope you're just as curious as I was to see what colours we can make from all of these lovely teas. Now what I'm going to do is I've already had a little bit of a trial, and I'm not sure these colours are going to represent very well right this moment, so I will hold them up, but I'm going to insert some photos of them close up so you can really get a sense of the colour as I talk through them. So the first batch we are talking about are the Goldens. Most of these are made from just the normal darker teas, but we shall talk through just a little bit more. So it's no particular order. I'm just doing this in my order that I've got it here. So the first one is this lovely burnt orange. It's a Rooibos on its own. Isn't that lovely? Isn't that gorgeous? It's not quite an orange, tiger orange, but you're pretty vibrant. I wonder if you did a secondary dye on the same colour, you might be able to deepen it. But yeah, look at that, lovely. Next up is Earl Gray on its own. You can see very different in terms of colour, much more kind of parchmenty. This would be very good for paper craft as well, actually, I reckon. I wouldn't submerge the paper completely in the tea bag, but if you've done a dyed batch and you want to hold a tea bag back and put it over some paper, that'd be quite cool. Got some nice sepia toned stuff going on here. So Earl Grey, very different. I decided to have a bit of a play around and see what would happen if I mixed my strawberry with a bit of English breakfast. It's interesting. It was a bit darker red at one point, but it seems to have mellowed out a bit more. But yeah, I quite like it. Again, it's quite a subtle colour. Very sandy, earthy. Here we have some good old-fashioned English breakfast on its own. You can tell the difference in the fact that it's a slightly warmer colour. What I find is a lot of these dyes settle down over the days and weeks. They're not necessarily as light fast, so they will tone down from the initial dye. If you want a stronger dye, you might need to dye it twice, but it's up to you. But that's a nice brown there. These are all the browns. Yeah, as you can see, we've got a Ceylon. It's very different in flavour, but is it different in colour? Ish. Some of these are very similar, so if you can't get, say, a hold of the Ceylon tea and you really like this colour, you could basically go to an English breakfast and maybe not have it and take the teas out quicker. You might want to do that, but yeah, some of these are very similar in tone. We've got quite an interesting combination here of English breakfast and Rooibos. It's certainly a lot less orange than the Rooibos, but it's slightly warmer than the English breakfast. Again, quite a nice colour, quite a nice camel, I think. What I find sometimes with some of these dyes, that the dyes are slightly patchier, and I'm not sure why that happens. Maybe because the dye takes a different time, or the dye dyes in a different way, or whether it's just the fabric, I don't know. But it's something to consider. Next up, we've got Darjeeling on its own. Very different colour. It's toned down quite a bit. It's got a slightly yellowish tone to it. It's a very sandy colour. Very nice. Again, on a linen, which this is. I think it'd be quite a nice thing to have a play around with. We're getting slightly into yellows now. We've got a green tea just on its own. Just a plain old green tea. And I thought it would go green. Call me naive. Clues in the name. No, it's slightly yellowy colour. There's maybe a greenish hue that kind of coming out as it darkens and dulls. Maybe in a second wash it might do a different colour. But yeah, that's what green tea turns out to be. And I had another play around. I just want to see what would happen, see if we put different coloured teas together. So this is a Chamomile and Darjeeling. Slightly similar to green tea, slightly more yellow. But yeah, it's a very interesting colour. I'm not sure what I would use it for, but yeah, that's it, guys. A nice short video. But you didn't think you'd get all those colours from just a few simple teas. I certainly didn't, and I didn't stop there. Tune into my next video to find out how I managed to make some yellows. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.